What's up guys, Chasing Lamely here, and we're going to start this wonderful new season of F1 Manager 23 off with a bang. If you've seen the thumbnail, you know exactly where we're going. We're going to go and manage Haas, but before we do that, I feel like we should watch the lovely intro. So, like and subscribe now, get ready for the new series, it's going to be a banger, and I will see you all on the other side of David Croft.
Formula One, the pinnacle of motorsport. With a global audience and drama to match, all the attention is now on race circuits around the world, waiting for the start of the fastest show on Earth. Last year's regulation changes saw closer on-track battles. Anyone expecting a smooth ride from the 2023 season is in for a shock. With a shake-up in the paddock resulting in the signing of several new team principals, F1 is primed and ready to light up the world stage. Team principals will already be talking tactics, boosting the confidence of their drivers and ensuring their pit crews make those box times as tight as possible. With a new era of racing now well underway, more teams than ever will be vying for points, podiums, and a chance at the championship. This is Formula One. Haas finished last season 8th in the Constructors' Championship, an improvement over past years, but still far from desired. With Nico Hülkenberg returning to F1 to join the team, as well as Kevin Magnussen continuing in his seat, Haas have opted for a more experienced driver pairing on the grid in 2023. With the team's trademark perseverance, they'll be eager to convert that experience and passion into valuable points.
So, nice intro there from Crofty, giving us a little rundown of the team. Let's have a little look at what we're actually walking into. We've got a 2-star rating. Season objective of finishing 6th in the standings, which might be tough because we do also only have the 6th best car on the grid. We want to be a podium contender long term. We have no money at all, which is always fun, as you can see. As I said, team performance, 6th best car on the grid, the worst HQ, 8th best staff and 8th best drivers, which is a little bit shocking. Now, in terms of staff, drivers, of course, K-Mag and Nico are our two main drivers. Pietro Fittipaldi is in reserve for us. Simone Resta, the tech chief. Head of aero is Aaron Melvin. And then we have Toby Brown in charge of being sporting director. And our race engineers, Gary Glennon and the legendary Mark Slade, who will be staying around until he retires because that man is an absolute master of his craft. Now, we look at the biography, of course. We know the Haas F1 team are the first all-American team in F1, despite having an Italian-built car with an Italian engine, no American drivers, an Italian team principal, and a mostly Italian staff. Not sure how they're all American, but there you go, that's life. Based in Kannapolis, started in 2016, and they are kind of had some good races, and they've had some bad races. They started off with a bang, declined a bit. Hopefully we'll get them to come back. Their 2022 Constructors finish was 8th place. And their best drivers finish was 13th last season with Kevin Magnussen. Never won a championship of any kind, so a blank slate for us to start on. So I'm going to get this thing set up for us, and then I'll see you when we get into the HQ. So here we are in HQ for the first time, and we'll have a little walk around, check our emails first, because that's always important. Ordering men's, I want to say hi, welcome, first day, yada yada yada. Sponsor obligations are set, and all that good stuff. Okay. So, of course, we're starting in Bahrain in 11 days' time. We'll have a look at what we've got going on here because it's going to be important. So, car-wise, let's have a look at the analysis on the car so we know where we are looking to perform. We'll try and put it rank on grid. So you can see our big problems are top speed, high speed and dirty air tolerance, and we've got a lot of heavyweight, a lot of timber on the old bones there. So that's what we're going to be trying to focus on today. We'll get into the development of the car shortly. Drivers-wise, we've got Kevin Magnussen with an 81 rating, Nico with a 79, Pietro Fittipaldi not far off with a 79. We will get into all the development of those guys in a second, but let's just keep walking around, meeting people. Simone Resta an 82 for a tech chief, pretty good. Aaron Melvin at 78, probably somewhere in the middle of the field. Gary Gannon is decent, and Mark Slade has an 84, which is criminal, but he's so good at what he does. Toby Brown at 76, probably the first on the chopping block. We will extend Mark Slade's contract, don't you worry. Not so sure about Gary Gannon or indeed anyone else there, but we will keep Mark Slade around. We'll look at the facilities. I'm going to do some very quick facilities upgrades, I think, purely because the tour centre, I know we don't have one, and we need to build one because that brings in extra money, so that's going to be key. We'll also look at bringing in a helipad. We'll build the basics of everything just because it's nice to have it. And the memorabilia room just again helps us to recruit people, which is nice. The weather centre, it's a bit of a pricey upgrade, but we're going to get that done now because having the best weather reporting really will help. Hospitality again, all about that team attractiveness, so we'll get that on the go. We're not going to upgrade facilities, we're just going to build the ones we don't have because they're all going to help us. Like a team hub will help us to improve our staff, so we need to get that in place before we can, in fact, really improve our staff. Same with the race simulator. Just want to make our drivers develop as fast as possible. Right, let's look at the training of people though, shall we? So Kevin Magnussen and Nico Hulkenberg are very easy ones to decide actually because they need to work on their long run pace probably. Well, in fact, race strategy looks like a winner there, so we'll go with race strategy for Kevin Magnussen. In fact, we might do the same for Nico Hulkenberg. I have a feeling that's probably the best setup for him as well, if we can get. I don't like it, it starts down the bottom. Looks like race strategy is probably going to be his winner, so we'll do that just to keep things even. And I think with Pietro Fittipaldi, whatever helps his smoothness and braking the most is going to be what we do. So let's see what's going to help with smoothness and braking, and then maybe something else. It's going to be race strategy again. Imagine my surprise. Shocking stuff. Right, so that's the drivers sorted out. We'll look at the staff too, because we can't afford really to be replacing staff. I'm going to keep Simona Resta on just balanced, because he doesn't really need to improve in any one area individually. I think with our head of aero, we're probably going to look at, well, something with the aero principles. That's probably, in fact, he's okay there. That's probably his weakness, his body work, I think. Ground effect. We'll go with ground effect. That's a big weakness for him. We'll go with that. Right, race engineers wise, we're going to need to work on communication and composure with Gary Gannon, which I don't know which one that is. That one, there we go, perfect responsiveness. And I have a feeling Mark Slade is the same, but you'll see why I want to keep him, because his feedback is at 99%, which means you just get the fastest possible setup from him. He is the man when it comes to that. And sporting director-wise, he needs everything but aptitude. So whichever does everything but aptitude is what we'll take. We'll look at probably innovation. Let's go innovation, because as much as I think there's probably something else there we can work on. Drill planning. We'll go drill planning with him. Talking of drill planning, of course, this year we can train the pit crew. So we're going to do that. I'm going to have the pit crew training for the first month at the very least on just getting faster at pit stops, because Haas do have the worst pit stops in F1. And I'd like them to be much quicker, especially now there are points on offer for doing that as well. Right, next step is going to be car development. And as we said when we looked at the analysis, we need to work on building up our top speed and our high speed cornering, and then we can work on the weight and the dirty air tolerance as we go. First step though is, I know, because we always do on this game, we will get a new suspension to build, so we'll start building some of those, because that's going to be really important. We'll try and rush those in, because having as many of those as we can before race day will be important. I'm also going to try and rush some R&D on a couple of parts, I think, is going to be the plan. So for the rear wing, the important things really, for high speed, the rear wing is most important. So we're going to put half our hours into that one, so about a 3.2, because that will help us immensely. We're going to put half our engineers into it. I know we can build 4 things. Don't need to tell me in the comments. We can build 4 things. The reason I'm not building 4 things is because we get 14 days for the next ATR period. And I feel like we can get one of these done in that time, which will really help us out. So we'll move that forward there as well. Preset wise, we're going to go for probably optimized aero. Although that does affect DRS effectiveness way too much for my liking. So high speed performance is the next ticket for us. Alright, we'll go for that one. That's a nice easy preset. We'll go 5 engineers on that one, and can we rush it in to get it in super quick? I mean, that will come in for the second race, so that's actually pretty good for us, because I expect us to do okay in Bahrain. It's quite a Haas favouring circuit. Chassis, I think, is going to be the next one that affects top speed the most. It certainly has the best effect. Well, the underfloor, dirty air tolerance, it's a 43-day build. I'd like to get an upgrade on the car before the first race. Let's have a look, see if I can get this done before the first race. If I can't, we'll go for an underfloor. That's going to be the big ticket plan for us. So I'll switch that over to the rank on grid so we know how much we're improving by doing this. Hopefully quite substantially will be the answer to that question, but we'll see what happens once we set a preset. We're looking for optimized aero. That's going to lose us top speed. Race performance is going to help us a lot. Okay, we'll try and get a race performance done, and we'll again try and rush that one through. Will that come in 11 days? If we rush it, it won't. It comes in 15 days. I have a feeling we can get an underfloor done faster than that, so we're going to give that a go instead. That will help us out immensely if we can do that, and that would be ideal. So again, we're going to plow everything we have into that, and we'll plow all of our wind tunnel hours into that as well, just to get as much gain from this as we possibly can. Beautiful. And focus-wise, is there a high-speed performance when I get there? It's going to affect us on low speed. Is there anything that doesn't affect us on low speed? Not really. Okay, we're going to try the high-speed performance. Again, we just need to get more speed, more power, baby. That's what we're looking for. And with that, we can get that in 21 days. Okay. I expected that to be faster. I don't know why I expected that to be faster. So I guess we are going to go back and rebuild the chassis. That's going to be the plan instead. Get that done. You've already seen me do this once, so you don't really need me to talk you through what we're doing here. We're just going to get it all set up, ready to go. Get it on the car in time for the next race is going to be plan A, because that'll be nice. And it's nice actually that it takes 15 days, which takes us to the start of the next aero period. I'm trying to work out which one it was we did. Race performance, was it? Yeah, that's the one. It is going to affect our cooling. I don't know if I can do anything about that without losing any performance. I really can't. I need the performance. One thing I've not done is the lifespan, which will help improve some things. There we go, because we don't need for the chassis to last more than 4 races anyway. We'll just build more. Okay, let's get that up and ready to go, and we'll get that on rushed. 15 days, job done, and we can carry on ploughing forward now, ready to get ourselves towards the Grand Prix, which should be beautiful. So we'll keep ourselves going, and we'll start to see some parts coming in. Obviously, pre-season testing results are about to appear. That will help us out immensely. Construction of the helipad complete. Beautiful. Memorabilia room complete. We like that. That's good starting. Okay, let's see how we did in testing. I think we did probably quite badly, if I'm honest. We're not even there yet. Key stuff, we know about sponsor obligations, we know about blah, 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 welcome. We'll look at the facilities, because again, I want to get those ones as good as I possibly can, because getting those as good as we possibly can is, I mean, the ops facilities essentially bring in money, and money is what makes the world go round. So we'll do another upgrade on that, and because we don't need to do anything before the race in terms of designing new parts, we've done all our new designing, so we can afford to just keep ploughing money into these things to try and get ourselves up the field financially, which will drive us up the field in terms of performance. That would be the hope. We'll keep going forward. We're going to get another few parts and another few buildings built / upgraded, as we can see coming up here. And race simulator, let's go to that facility. Can I get another upgrade on the race simulator? I can't. We've had another 5 million coming. Absolutely disgraceful. I might even upgrade the scouting department. I've not done any scouting yet because I'm not actually looking for any drivers or anything at the moment. So that's fine. That's actually okay as far as I'm concerned. We will get another tour centre, or get the tour centre done shortly. What can we do? Temporarily shut down due to a sponsor obligation. That's helpful. Doesn't mean I can't plan an upgrade though, does it? Can we get anything done here? Wind tunnel? No. CFD simulator? No. Suspension simulator? We do have the money for that. I don't know if it's going to help us with the suspension. We might build a suspension in the next round, but I don't think we will immediately. That will be the most beneficial. The car park test centre. We'll get that done. Beautiful. 29 days to get that upgraded. That's going to help develop the next round of the car quite nicely. We'll keep going to our inbox because that's going to give us some new information. Memorabilia room construction complete, good stuff, construction complete, driver development update. They've not made any gains, but then they've not had a simulator to work with. Again, we're going to go with a pit stop. In fact, let's go balanced for now because there are 3 races coming up in this month, and I don't want to tire the pit crew out too much if I can avoid it. So we'll carry on going forward and see where we end up then with the season starting, some practice sessions, etc. Tour centre complete. Let's get level 2 of the tour centre on the go, because again, the boost in cash it looks like it's not a lot. It brings in 13,000 a week, but that's 52,000 a month, and upgrading it, takes up to a nice tasty 64,000 a month, which could be a new front wing being built or something similar. So we'll get that on the go because that's going to be important. Go to the inbox, race simulator completed, tour simulator completed, our car, source completed, money coming in, our drivers are getting better, which is all for our benefit, and we will hopefully have enough new suspensions to put on the car before we get going. Let's have a look at the memorabilia room before we go any further, because I can probably get another level on that. Not quite enough money, that's fine. That's okay, I'm happy with that. So let's put those new suspensions on the car, because they are going to contribute immensely to our top speed and other such things. I say top speed, it's actually acceleration, but same difference, you know what I meant. You were all here with me, you knew the score. Right, okay, we've got that done. Let's look at the analysis of where we are on the grid. In terms of rank on grid, we are 7th in the things that, 7th and 9th in the things that matter at Bahrain, so top 10 should be achievable when we set our race targets for today. So we'll start off by doing that, and we'll plan for the top 10. So we're going to say qualifying position. We'll say one car in the top 10, just to be on the safe side, because you never know, we might have a little slip and someone might finish 11th, and that would be tragic. But we are going to say both cars will make it to Q2, because I'd be very shocked if both cars did not make it to Q2. Right, in terms of guarantees, I don't want to guarantee a fastest lap. I don't think we can deliver it. I think Max is going to deliver the fastest lap, because that's what he does. Qualifying position streak, though, I am going to say we can get both cars in the top 12 for the next 5 races. That'll bring in a nice cool 2.6 million, which is a beautiful, beautiful amount of cash to be bringing in. And I think without any further ado, we're ready to go to Bahrain. I will see you after qualifying, and hopefully we'll be in a good position. Okay, so Q3 is in the bag then, and it's an interesting grid today. Sergio Perez starts on pole. You're going to notice some people missing. Charles Leclerc starts in second with a grid penalty. Carlos Sainz in third. Fernando Alonso in fourth. Stroll in fifth. Hamilton sixth. Magnussen in seventh. Russell in eighth. Esteban Ocon in ninth. Pierre Gasly in 10th. In 11th place, Nico Hulkenberg with a grid penalty. Yuki Tsunoda 12th. Alex Albon 13th. Logan Sargent 14th. Grid penalty. Valtteri Bottas 15th. Grid penalty. Nick De Vries 16th. Lando Norris 17th, Oscar Piastri 18th, Max Verstappen 19th. No grid penalty. He'll get a couple of boosts from the grid penalties. But yeah, he just had a shocking Q1. He kept coming out in traffic and it didn't work out for him. And Zhou Guanyu brings up the back, which, Max is going to have some work to do to start this Grand Prix. We may not see him come through. You never know. He might have a bad race.
Bahrain has seen some of the most dramatic races in F1, like Sergio Perez's incredible 2020 victory, surging ahead from being last on the opening lap.
I'd love to know, Karun, your thoughts on Kevin Magnussen so far this weekend.
They've been performing well and doing exactly what the team is asking of them. They've just got to keep doing what they're doing.
And there's going to be a lot for the teams to handle. So will the drivers and their cars be able to deal with the pressure here in Bahrain?
One day I'm going to learn to time that so you actually get the audio properly. That's going to work out nicely. Right, strategy-wise, Nico Hulkenberg is 3-place grid penalty. That's not a big problem for us. I know it always recommends a 2-stop strategy here, but I think 1 is the way to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to knock off that last stint there. We're going to go softs to mediums because we should be able to make that work. It looks like the mediums will go quite some distance into the race, so we'll just get the fastest possible time out of that from the right hand side. So loses us 7 seconds over what we would have had. I don't think I'm that bothered about losing 7 seconds. Let's not cancel that. Let's update that and let's select strategy C. Now for our intrepid adventurer at the back there, Nico Hulkenberg, we're going to do the absolute opposite of that. So we're going to modify strategy B and take out that last stint and move the pit stop. I'm not going to do anything funky with tyres straight away. I know people like to push off the grid. I understand why they like to do that, but I don't think it's terribly productive. We're going to do that again, will cost ourselves 7 seconds in the race. But 7 seconds if you stay ahead of a car in the battle is actually pretty strong, as we all know. So let's not mess around with fuel. I think there could be a safety car today. Kevin Magnussen only has a 95% as his best set of softs. That's going to be interesting for us. We'll go with that, it's fine. It's just going to affect where we pit anyway. Again, nothing to worry about on the fuel or the tyres. We're just going to kind of eke this one out a little bit. In fact, we'll use fuel on the first lap, and then for the second, and from the second lap onwards, we'll drop it back down. We'll earn the fuel back, and if we get a safety car, we will make use of it to recharge our fuel tanks. And of course, we are going to have to go on overtake, because that's going to be helping us out quite a lot as things go through. Let's go to deploy as well for Mr. Hulkenberg. We've done that already. Beautiful stuff. Okay, so I'm going to get right this time. Without any further ado, let's go to Crofty and crew, and let's see what happens.
Here in Sakir, the floodlights are on, and it's nearly time for 57 laps around the Bahrain International Circuit. This could be an important race today for Lance Stroll.
It's a second row start there in P4. The trick will be not to slip backwards, because there are plenty looking to capitalise.
Right, let's get to it then. Here we go with the Bahrain Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
And we're underway here in Bahrain. I'm going to get rid of some of that car noise, because that's going to be tremendously helpful if we don't have that annoying us in the background, I think. I'm still trying to get the sound settings right for the game. It's an absolute nightmare to get it all set up properly. We're off to a good start though. Magnus has managed to hold on to 7th. And in fact, now I'm thinking about it, let's use our wonderful new toys to give him some overtake aggression. Make him really aggressive on the overtakes, because you never know, there might be a cheeky position in there. Looks like Hulkenberg is doing well as well. He's improved his confidence a little bit. Had a failed overtake, but that's fine. Let's jump on board with Kevin Magnussen, actually, because he should be able to stay on the back of Alex Albon for this first lap. I think, actually, we could be in a good chance of getting at least one car in the points, if not both cars in the points today. Unless we have a bit of a nightmare, there's no reason why we shouldn't. We're going to go longer, of course, on this first stint, which is going to help us out tremendously as well. Another car has spun. I'm not sure who it was. I'm sure we'll find out momentarily. Probably someone behind us. Watch out for yellows. Was it someone ahead? It was Nick de Vries. Well, there is a shock for all of us. I'm sure we are all absolutely shook by that. Max Verstappen up into 17th already, barely a lap gone. Is he going to go on a Senna-style lap of the gods? Can he get Bottas before the end of the lap is going to be the next real question. I guess because nothing's really happening with our drivers right now, we could jump on board with Max Verstappen and see if he can get that overtake done on Valtteri Bottas. I mean, you'd like to think he'd have the power to get past him fairly quickly, and then Logan Sargent should, in theory, be easy pickings for him, but that does also mean that he ends up behind Norris, and ultimately behind Nico Hulkenberg very quickly, which we don't want to see. I feel like Max Verstappen's going to take the fastest lap here. I'd be very surprised if he doesn't. Magnussen is dropping back a little bit, so we can probably start saving his fuel just to get him back in contention ready for the rest of the race, because we don't want to run him too light, otherwise we won't make it to the end. We, I think, though, are going to be okay, but Magnussen's got himself back up behind the gearbox of Hamilton, which is kind of where we'd like him to stay. If he can get a little bit clearer of Russell, I'll be even happier still. That would do me quite nicely if we could manage that to pull it off. Either way, I think things are going quite well for us so far. We're still not seeing Verstappen getting past Bottas. Who's waiting for DRS to pass Bottas? I'll be shocked, because you'd like to think Max would be going full out aggression in real life. He'd probably have taken 6 of the cars ahead of him out already. Just, I said taken them out, obviously not smashed them up, but you know, he'd have passed them quite easily. He'd have cleared them by now. You'd expect him to be up into at least P14 at this point in the race. But he's having quite a good race, and Valtteri's gone way too wide on that curve, just to really ruin his traction coming out of that corner. But he's defending well, as you expect from Valtteri Bottas. You'd like to think that Max will find a way through, but he just can't see it. Bottas is making that car very wide, and in the process is actually really helping us out. So I'm not against him doing that. He can do that all race for all I care. Let's go on board with Kevin Magnussen. he's losing some ground to Hamilton. We're going to be out of the DRS train pretty swiftly here. We're going to drop ourselves down to neutral on the ERS though, because that's going to be a smart move just to save some up for the end of the race. I'm not super concerned about tyres, about pace right now. I think we're doing okay. Let's go to super quick mode. In fact, let's save ourselves some time on the episode, because as much as it'd be nice to do every single lap, it looks like someone's had an accident there as well. Hulkenberg has found a place. Verstappen and Hulkenberg now having a little moment. Let's have a look at what happened with Hulkenberg overtaking Sonoda. Must have been off the track. He was off the track. I was going to say, there's no way we overtook him if we couldn't see him at the start of that highlight. But you know what? I'll take an easy place into 12th, an easy little slide up. And that has gone well for us. I don't know how we got up there. Hulkenberg, in the meantime, has been overtaken by Max. We can see him there. That'll be the last we see him until he catches K-Mag, I'm very sure. George Russell's struggling to stay in DRS range of Kevin Magnussen as well. That's very telling. I think we might put the battle assist on for the boys, actually, because I think they're going to need it to be able to defend effectively against the cars behind them. So we'll do that, and then I think we'll go into quick zoom mode again, because realistically, we're just trying to hold on to positions until we get to our first pit stop. And it's going to be an interesting one to see if there are 10 seconds available in time with the extra pit stops that the other teams we expect will be making, because I don't think there will be. Hulkenberg drops behind Norris. That's not the biggest drama. Let's check on Hulkenberg's confidence. I imagine he's had a little bit of a knock, but he's made an overtake there. He's happy. Good stuff. He's got past Lando again. Let's see what Kevin Magnussen's confidence. He's looking good as well. Got to be confident, really, when you're riding that high in a car that no one really would have expected to get there. Nick De Vries had another lock-up. He's going up about 4 laps behind if he keeps making mistakes at this rate. He's not having the best F1 debut, but I feel like, let's say F1 debut, 2023 full-time F1 debut is going about as well as it did in real life. So never doubt the accuracy of the game. Hulkenberg and Albon are actually having quite a nice little battle. I think we're going to drop in on board with that, because with 13 laps in, these guys seem to be going back and forth, having a real fight for what is 12th place. It's a fight for 12th. I mean, Hulkenberg, I expect to make his way up the field fairly quickly. If we have a look at what's going on with the tyre situation around us as well, Hulkenberg's tyres best of the midfield runners except for Ocon, and he's got clean air, so he's not going to be overheating them. Magnussen, meanwhile, has just dropped a place to George Russell. I didn't see that pop up with a replay, unfortunately, but again, he's going to come in early, he's going to get the undercut there, and he's going to go to the end, and George is going to have to do all the work to try and catch up and pass us. Meanwhile, as I say that, Max Verstappen is probably closing in on Kevin, because, he's made his way through the field quite nicely up into 9th. I mean, a few mistakes have helped out along the way for sure, and, things are heating up here with K-Mag on the track, looking very shiny indeed. But can he hold his place in the points? That's going to be the real question, because Gasly's tyres are probably going to go off about the same time. We'll probably end up coming in about the same time as Gasly. So it's all going to be a case of that gap to Ocon. How big will that grow before we come in for our pit stop? Are we going to drop ourselves out in traffic? I'd like to think we won't. But, there are never any guarantees. And, of course, pit stop mistakes happen in this year's game as well. A slow pit stop could affect us. Here comes Max Verstappen up the inside of Kevin Magnussen. He's away and gone. And hopefully we'll just stay close enough to him to get DRS, help build a gap to Gasly. That would be nice if we could. Has to be said, it would be preferable if we could. But, it's Formula 1. You never know what will happen. And it's also Max Verstappen. He's probably got a second on us already. He has. Only took him a couple of corners. He was away, clear and gone. Is he going to go from 19th to 1st and start adding numbers to his tally of places that he can get a win from, just to prove how good he is? We all say that begrudgingly. We all know he's really good. We just all don't like that he's really good. I think we all just get annoyed with the fact this kid's really, really good. But there we go. We've missed our opportunity to hold on to a place again. But I don't mind so much, because we are doing our best to build gaps here. We've got Gasly trying to get a look in on Magnussen. We know Magnussen's race pace is not stellar, although Sainz is going to the pit and drop behind us, gives us a free position. Won't stay that way, of course. Perez coming in as well, so we know they're two stopping. That is actually really good knowledge for us. I've just realised, in fact, we can use some ERS if we need to. So I don't know why I'm dropping that up, going up into that. we can just do that naturally this way. It'd be nice to have some deployment to use. That will help us out probably to build some gaps where we need to. There's a yellow flag out there somewhere. Nico Hulkenberg has had a spin. Has he damaged the car? That's going to be the big question. Hopefully he stayed out of the wall. I don't think he has. I don't know how he's binned it like that. That does not seem terribly productive, Kevin. That has not helped us at all. How are we doing in terms of damage? Have we survived that? It looks like we have, actually. It looks like we've survived the damage. We've just cost ourselves some places, and it'll cost him a little bit of a knock on his confidence as well, I think. But he seems to be carrying on. He seems to be going okay. Russell has gone into the pits as well to drop behind it, which would be nice, but it has put Hulkenberg back in that battle with Lando Norris where he won't want to be. That is for absolute certain. We are holding on to the extra fuel. I'm not pushing it just yet because I'm going to try and burn that fuel on the way. It has kind of a hot lap into the pits. Hot in lap will help us out a lot, I think, going forward in this race, just because we do need to try and make as much of that gap up as we possibly can, and I feel like we've got the ability to do it. We're going to keep going through because I think we're probably looking for the pit window to open now. We'll get the neutral on there for Hulkenberg. Magnussen up into 5th. His pit window is open. That's beautiful. We can start to push his tyres maybe a touch. In fact, looking at that, I think we're probably just on course now. We'll just go for the one hot in lap and see if that helps him to get himself ready and going and burning. Because I think we're going to be okay on this one. I think we'll have a push for a good outlap, push a good in lap and a good outlap, and hopefully we will get the heat into the tyres early, get ourselves going and not have to worry too much. Magnussen is building a little bit of a train behind him, with Sainz, with Gasly, Leclerc and Ocon in there. Albon and Piastri in the pits behind us, just to help Hulkenberg out with a little bit of extra boost to his confidence. Hopefully he's got that boost to his confidence, honestly. Very high confidence. We'd like to see what's Magnussen's confidence looking like. Just high. He's actually lost confidence since the start of the race. A little bit disappointing for him, if I'm honest, but you know, I guess that's racing. Let's just keep pushing, shall we? See where we come in with the pit stop. Sainz has got past us. We're up into the top 4 because the leaders are starting to come into the pits now. The ones who are one-stopping, which it looks like the Alfa Romeos are probably looking for a one-stop. What tyres are they coming out on? That's the big question, of course. Stroll's coming on sauce, so he must be two-stopping. So is Alonso, so he's also going to be two-stopping. Unless they're just going to try and eke those tyres out to the end. Gasly is burning his tyres. He's definitely trying the same one-stop we are. Which, you know, I understand, I rate it. That's why we chose it, because it's probably a good solution for a team in our position. And, yeah, we're going to lose a few positions through the pit windows, but I don't think that's going to be a big problem. We'll try and get through to that pit window now, actually, because it's all about Hulkenberg doing some defending right now. He's been overtaken by George Russell. That's not a huge problem for us. Alonso will probably get past Magnussen in just a second. Guess we can hop on board for that, because why not? Let's enjoy the ride. I believe we're coming in next lap with K-Mag, but I can't say for absolute certain that's going to be the case. I'd like to think we will, but I also cannot remember what lap I set us up to pit on. I think we're going to be set up to pit on this lap, if memory serves. Someone's coming. Gasly is coming looking for an undercut on us. That might be a wise decision, because we're about to get taken. But in the meantime, we're going to go and get ourselves onto this new set of tyres. That should work out nicely for us. Let's give Kev the hurry up, because he's going to have to really be fighting to hold on to his position. Hold up the cars around him, maybe get himself up onto the back again of Alonso. I don't think he will. I think he'll really struggle even with DRS to get onto the back of Alonso and stay on the back of Alonso, purely based on the tyre situation. Gasly has had a pit stop issue. What's happening in the pits for Pierre Gasly? He's probably had a tyre issue looking at that camera. I've played a little bit of the game just to get myself used to it. It is a tyre issue. He can't get the tyre off. Oh, that's a shocker for Pierre Gasly. And he is going to drop like a stone down the field. That one stop has not paid off for him at all. Although I've said that, and that does mean probably our one stop is not going to pay off for us either. Kevin Magnussen has some deployment available. Let's use that. Let's take the Basel assist off, because we're doing it for time, not for places. As much as we are keeping Charles Leclerc behind us, we're doing it for time, not for places. And we need to get ourselves pushed even some more into the pit box. So we'll keep going. Hopefully no mistake for Kevin Magnussen here. Would be nice, but again, I make no guarantees. We don't know what happened. Gasly is 10 seconds or so behind Hulkenberg, so his tyres haven't come in yet. That's going to be interesting for us to keep an eye on, because Hulkenberg just building that gap helps us out immensely. Magnussen, I think, will drop in just between Magnussen and Hulkenberg, so should get some DRS off his teammate. If we're very, very lucky, that's what we'll be hoping for. We're going to drop that down to neutrals now for Magnussen on the ERS. That's going to be really handy for him, just so he's got something to come out the box with. And Charles Leclerc coming past him, well, it's a bit of a wasted overtake for him, a bit of a wasted effort. He's gone very wide there. Very wide. Track extension, anybody? That was definitely a 5-second time penalty in modern F1. But we're in the box now with K-Mag. Let's have a look, see what happens. I'd like to think we can get this under 2.8. That'll be a beautiful pit stop if we can pull off. It'll be a slow pit stop by F1 standards in the modern day, of course. But I'll take a 2.8. If we can get a 2.8 going, I'll be happy with that. We've gone 2.7, happy days. And he should come out just ahead of or just behind his teammate, ready to get the tow. We're not going to switch them because there's no benefit to us in switching them. But we are going to let Magnussen just kind of either fight his own way through or get himself in the tow, pull away from Magnussen, and hopefully they can have a good race together. We're going to keep an eye on the tyre temps for Magnussen as well, because we are just trying to get them in the window. We're not trying to burn him through his tyres. That will be a humongous mistake. We just want to get those tyres up to temp as fast as we can, and then hopefully we can have a good rest of the race here, because we should be in a good position to get some points once some pit stops start happening, which would be kind of the ideal for us, really, to get that pit stop done, get ourselves ready to go, and once we've boxed Hulkenberg, then I think all bets are off for where he'll finish. I don't think he'll get in the points today, unfortunately. I think he's a little bit too little too late. I think that mistake has probably cost him any chance he had at finishing in the points. But, you know, Hulkenberg is doing well. He's holding place. He's not losing too much time to Russell or Magnussen. And Magnussen will be in DRS ready for us to start the next lap, which is going to be really key for us. We've got the tyres in the window. That's what I was looking for. And we'll get the fuel down to standard in just a second as well, because we are going to get across the line ready for the DRS to open. I don't think we'll make the pass on this lap. It'll probably be on the next lap that we get the pass done, but I've been surprised before. I'll be surprised again. Let's get ready to see that happen. Let's just drop that out of the way so we can see what's going on. Because if an overtake is going to happen, I want to be on board for it. There we go. We've got to neutral fuel. We're perfect. Let's do that. And we're looking okay. We're doing fine. We are staying with our teammate now. As long as they don't fight too much, as long as they understand it's a team sport, I think we'll be okay here. If they hit each other, then we'll have an absolute nightmare of a race, to be honest. We're going to really struggle to reclaim anything if they make contact. But we're doing okay so far. They're staying up close together, staying tight. I expect Magnussen will pass him on that back straight, because he's going to have the massive overspeed on the DRS. Albon is right behind us as well, just doing his thing a little bit. In fact, I'm tempted to swap them over if they don't make it through this straight together, just because I feel like probably Hulkenberg is holding Magnussen up at this point. We'll let him get his we'll let him get himself back up into the field later. Let's do a don't fight teammate for Hulkenberg. Let him go. He's on a different strategy. Thank you very much, Nico. Job done. Let's carry on. See if we can make the best of this, because we're not helping each other out if we fight. And Magnussen being held up does not help us get in the points. And he should have the pace now to start catching up to George Russell, depending on their tyre choices. George is still on the softs and on a decent set of softs, so I don't know if he's going to start dropping pace anytime soon. But if we can stay within 20 seconds of him, we will take him, which is sort of the goal here. It's kind of the end game. Hulkenberg should be opening his pit window this lap, I believe, off the top of my head. They'll stay together for probably the rest of the lap, because Hulkenberg should have enough to stay in DRS range for a good while yet, and hopefully they won't do anything stupid like trying to fight each other. I think we'll be okay. Let's go zooming forward, because those guys are hopefully just going to tow each other along until Hulkenberg comes in for his pit stop. Hulkenberg now being dropped slightly because Magnussen obviously on much better tyres, but I do think Hulk's going to get a really strong advantage finishing on the soft tyres. He's very good at holding onto his tyres. So there is benefit to this, and he is currently holding Gasly up, which is going to help out Kevin Magnussen a lot. We've entered the pit window. That's beautiful. That's what I was looking for. Where are we at on fuel? We have enough fuel to keep us going for a while. I'm not going to push the tyres for Nico because I do think he's probably at his limit tyre-wise, but we're okay. We've kind of pushed him as far as we need to. We've lost another position to Albon. I'm not worried just yet because I do think they've got a second stop to make, or at least one of them will have. So we'll just try and get ourselves back in the game a little bit. I think we'll be okay with that. We're going to wait till it is the in lap for Hulkenberg to really push the car. I'm not going to worry about saving fuel just yet. He's not going to use enough that we can't save it. There we go. Optimal pit lap for our good friend Nico, and we're going to go onto soft tyres to really make the best of it. We'll go for a big push on this in lap as well, just to make the most of it. And yeah, we'll go for full attack on the tyres because we can afford to burn some. If we're completely honest, we can afford to burn some. Ocon has come in as well on this lap, so we should come out near enough him. We're going to come out ahead of Piastri as kind of, if you look, sort of heading for 15th, I think, on their way out of the box. But again, not a huge problem for us because we'll have way faster tyres. We should be able to make it through to the end. And I don't think I've got any real concerns about us not being able to pull that off. So I think we're going to be okay here. We'll keep on trucking though, because I feel like Nico is going to have a good stop here. I'm hoping he's going to have a good stop here. And if he doesn't, then we're going to be in real trouble, quite frankly. Let's double the speed because we're really just kind of dragging things out here. I just want to make sure when we get to the last corner with Nico. Just realised I'm watching Kevin. Good stuff. I've planned that well. Let's see where we're at once we come out of this, come into this last corner. Drop the fuel down to balance, ready to go. We are going to warm up the tyres like we did last time as well. And when we come out of the box, I will go neutral on the ERS as well, just to rebuild that. Because we'll need to, quite frankly. We are, let's say, going to drop back to just ahead of Oscar Piastri. Good pit stop again, just shy of 2.8. That's going to be fine. We're coming out in clear air as well, which is going to help us an awful lot, quite frankly. That was sort of what I was hoping to do, to be completely honest with you. That was what I was kind of hoping for. We're going to drop that down to neutral because we don't want to use all of our ARS if we can avoid it. And we are going to be in the tyre temperature window fairly soon, so we'll be okay there. There we go, we've found ourselves in the tyre temperature window. Drop that down to standard. And we can carry on the race now as planned, where hopefully there are points in the offing for one of our drivers, by which I mean Kevin Magnussen, because there's no chance there are points in the offing for Hulkenberg at this stage. He's basically just getting some laps in, getting himself used to being back in a car. We'll keep an eye on Magnussen's fuel usage whilst we're giving a push. There was a yellow flag there. I'm not quite sure what the yellow flag was for. It doesn't really matter, to be honest, because it didn't lead to a safety car, so it didn't help us. It was another Nick De Vries lock-up. Imagine everyone's surprised. Kevin Magnussen up into 8th. Beautiful stuff. If Hamilton pits again, we could be in a real interesting situation here. Hulkenberg's going to get a couple of free spaces as he overtakes Albon and Bottas going into the pits. That's nice. We're doing okay here. I think we're holding our own in the best possible way. Albon, of course, going to be a little bit faster on his slightly newer tyres. But, in fact, has he come out on mediums? Because if he's come out on mediums, we should gap him. He has come out on mediums. We may well gap him quite nicely. We could be in for a good afternoon after all for Hulkenberg. I don't know if we'll get onto the back of Norris. I think that's unlikely. There's a yellow flag out there as well for Piastri running wide. Hamilton and Stroller in the pits. Magnus has been overtaken by Russell whilst all that's been going on, but we should be in a nice little train now. We should be able to do something here with DRS if we can stay close to Russell. What tyres is Russell on? Russell on soft, so he's probably going to drop us quite quickly. Gasly is just going to have to hold up Ocon for us if he's feeling nice. But yeah, Norris into the pits, so Hulkenberg again gets some clear air in front of him. I think we can probably run this through quite far now because it is very unlikely there's going to be much more overtaking involving our drivers unless there's an enormous mistake given how things are looking. Gasly's in for the pits again and falls behind Hulkenberg. Is there a chance with one more pit stop for someone, a mistake for someone, that Hulkenberg can steal himself a cheeky 10th place double points finish for us? I don't think I'm hopeful for it, but it's certainly not impossible. it's not outside of the realms of possibility, but Ocon would have to absolutely bin it, or someone in the top 10 would have to absolutely bin it. I don't think that's going to happen. Gasly has got through on Hulkenberg. Now we'll have a look at that overtake just because we've not had a lot of action in the last few laps. So it's just going to be a standard DRS. It says heading into turn 2. That is in fact turn 1. But nice try, Crofty. Counting apparently not AI Crofty's strong suit, unless he thinks this is where it happened, but he was already done by the time we got anywhere near turn 2. There's a yellow flag out there somewhere, and Logan Sargent has picked up a penalty. Crash involving multiple cars. What's happened here? That looks terrible. Oh, it's not one of our cars. I'll say that looks terrifying like one of our cars. It wasn't. It was an Alpha Tauri of Yuki Tsunoda and Logan Sargent's Williams coming together, which hasn't really helped us to get any points. But if it had brought out a safety car, probably would have given us a little bit of a hand. So that's not going to be the worst thing that can happen to us today. But no safety car just yet, so we're going to be okay, I think. Nick De Vries has somehow managed to not finish last just because Yuki Tsunoda just had a massive crash. So good times down at Alpha Tauri. It's all going very well for them. Hulkenberg is theoretically in a fight, by the way. It's just not worth us pushing to use it because he's pretty much on the tyre deg line where he should be, so I'm not worried too much. Magnussen, I think we can go a little bit pushing with him just to see if we can maybe get ourselves a little bit closer to the cars ahead. We won't count our chickens, but staying ahead of Ocon is really the game plan right now. If we can keep that gap to Ocon, we'll be okay. And the gap to Gasly, it's kind of gone. That's sort of us. We're sort of out of that race. And another yellow flag out there somewhere for something. It's Fernando Alonso having a little lock-up for us. Well, I don't think we'll have passed him because Fernando Alonso, unless he's hit the wall and damaged his car, probably not going to be massively affected by that. He's got through that nice and easily. That's not even going to be a real concern for him. If we're completely honest, I think he's going to survive that quite happily. Probably won't be too unhappy about it. So we'll be okay. And Kevin Magnussen, 13 seconds shy of George Russell now. And just ahead, somehow, of Esteban Ocon. He's in a bit of a battle here. I think we're probably going to have to give him some battle assist to help him out. He's going to struggle to stay on top of Ocon. He's just got DRS as well, so we'll try and push back at him if we can, because if we can push back at him, we'll be okay. I don't know if we will. I don't know what the tyre situation there is like. He's on roughish softs. We might have the tyre advantage sort of here, but it's going to be unlikely, I think, is what I'm going to say quite safely. We'll give it our best to give him a push, but I don't think we're going to make it happen. We're just going to have to settle for a single point today. But honestly, settling for a single point is not the worst thing that can happen to us right now. Another yellow flag came out. A safety car there would have done absolute wonders for us, to be quite honest. Ocon's had a spin and given that place back to Kevin Magnussen. Beautiful. We've got a chance here to tell Kev to just defend for his life. Just defend for his life. Hold on to 9th place. Block everything behind you. Don't mess around. Just bring it home. Bring it home for us, Kev. That would do us nicely. He should have the ability to defend. You'd like to think a driver of Kevin Magnussen's experience would be able to defend. Yuki Tsunoda, I think that is, just behind us, having been lapped, is it? I can't see. It looks like it's Tsunoda. I see a U in there. So, good stuff. We're doing some lapping, which is always nice. Ocon is right behind us, but again, as I said, if we can just hold him behind, I think we're going to be okay. And that's going to really help us. If Tsunoda feels a bit feisty and tries to pass Ocon, that's going to help us out even more because they're going to keep trying to trade places and not really understand. Tsunoda did actually have a look at trying to get himself past Ocon then. He's still having a look at trying to get himself past Ocon. It's very brave, but probably not sensible at this stage in the Grand Prix. It's got to be said. Magnussen doing his defending very, very well there. It's got to be said. He is holding his own with Ocon. Should be placing his car in the right places there. Should be looking really good. 3 laps to go. Verstappen up into 4th, doing very well as we expect, but still 15, 16, 17 seconds adrift of Perez. It would take a miracle for him to get first. It would take something special for him to get a podium, but Of course, it's Max Verstappen. We cannot rule that out, and we wouldn't rule that out because we all know better than to do so. It looks like we've got Ocon and Gasly right behind us. We're building a bit of a trolley train here, but I'm not against it. I'm not against the idea of building the trolley train. I think that's a great idea. I think it's a great concept for us to do. I think it will really help us out with the race. And you go, K-Mag. You go, you do your thing, buddy. Just hold up, Ocon. Keep Gasly in a nice place behind you in your pocket as well. Everyone's happy. If we can hold them up enough, maybe Hulkenberg has an outside shot of getting involved. In fact, now I'm thinking about it, let's push Hulkenberg. In fact, let's push Hulkenberg all the way to the end here with a bit of aggressive tyre use. Because he has only got to go another couple of laps. And if he can miraculously get himself in this fight, led by K-Mag, who knows, maybe he's got enough about him to get himself involved, get himself a cheeky point if he really pushes. You can kind of see him in the background there. Kind of see him in the background there at the end of the straight. He's getting closer, but he's not necessarily fully in the fight yet. But Hulkenberg is getting closer, and that's what's important. Magnussen doing his best, holding up the boys behind him, just doing the bare minimum he has to. Nothing too special, nothing too clever. Just holding up the boys, letting the race play out, keeping them in his pocket. That's all he needs to do, and if we can get Hulk into this fight, we will be in a really good position to maybe steal an extra point here for something. Logan Sargent right up behind Yuki Tsunoda behind us as well. 2 laps to go, and we are looking fine and dandy. We're looking okay here. Magnussen holding the inside line. He's not quite going to hold off Ocon, but he's had a good go. And Ocon is gone and past him, and I don't think we've got what it takes to get back ahead of Ocon unless Ocon has another mistake. We'll do a deploy, just try and get ourselves caught up as best we can. Last lap has begun. We're going to do a little bit of a push on the tyres, just see if there's anything left in them to get ourselves on the back of Gasly where we can. I want us to stay on the back of Gasly just long enough to... Oh, sorry, we are staying on the back of Gasly just long enough to get that DRS open on this back straight. If we can stay there, hold it tight, we'll be fine. It's going to be really close, but we'll give him everything we can give him just to get this done, get this car over the line, and get a nice DRS push here to get ourselves through into Sector 3 as close to Gasly as we possibly can, whilst pulling away from Ocon, which is going to be really key here. I am going to tell Magnussen to stop with the silly defending now. Just go all out attack. We don't need to worry about any defending right now. We're just going to keep pushing and hope we can get back on the back of Gasly as fast as we can. We're going to get our fuel back down to neutral so we don't burn too much of it. We're going to drop our ERS down to neutral because we don't want to burn too much of that either. We are pushing our way through the tyres. There is a lap to go. Hulkenberg is catching Ocon. It's very slow going, but he is catching Ocon as things go, and we're going to try and push through, get DRS open, happy days, down this long main straight. Are we going to get ourselves close enough on this last lap to really, really trouble Gasly and try and steal away that extra point from him? I'd like to think we can. I think we've got enough about us. In fact, because it's the last lap, I'm going to go full push on the tyres now. There's no point holding back. There's no point saving anything. We're never going to see the set of tyres again. The race has been won by Sergio Perez. Max Verstappen did, in fact, get himself up onto the podium. Good work there by Max. And we are looking fine and dandy and good to go. And hopefully, what we're about to look forward to is a nice point we're going to bring home for the team. Hulkenberg, again, still pushing Ocon, doing really well to push up onto the back of Ocon. I think it's too little too late. He's the last man not lapped, but Ocon's tyres are dead. It's not out of the realms of possibility we can steal an 11th place here. It's not going to help us much in terms of any battles for constructors' points, but you never know when a countback will come in useful. So we'll hope Hulkenberg has enough to get himself up to and past Ocon, as Ocon's tyres will be screaming right now. In fact, I say that, but Hulkenberg is about to run out of fuel, which is not going to help me at all. So I'm going to drop that down to conserve, because I got a little bit too excited. And I don't think he's actually going to make it to the line. He'll get classified in 12th anyway because he finished enough laps and no one can get past him. But I've pushed him too far. He's going to come to a dead stop. There's going to be a yellow flag out soon. Luckily, as I said, no one behind him to worry too much. Yellow flag has gone out for Hulkenberg. Stopped on track, run out of fuel. He pushed as hard as he could, bless him. But Kevin Magnussen brings it home for a single point. and we're going to head over very shortly to Karoon and Crofty. So let's get ready for that one, I suppose, because we are coming in strong.
Nico Hulkenberg with what can only be described as a disastrous outing.
They'll be very disappointed to have had their race end early. No driver wants that to happen, but now they just have to look forward.
And onto the podium goes Sergio Perez, and he's certainly in good company there.
Their first win of the season, and the team looking on will be very proud, I'm sure.
And we've certainly kicked things off in style here at the Bahrain Grand Prix. Now, Karoon, I'd be really keen to know, how do you think the Haas team will be reflecting on today's results?
It was a strangely mixed weekend for them. We saw one driver put in a strong performance, but it was a different story for the other. Definitely positives there, though.
And that is about that for this weekend's action here in Bahrain.
The teams now look ahead to the next round, where they'll duel it out in the sand dunes of Saudi Arabia.
So, of course, definitely happy with that performance there. Got to be said, we are happy with that as a performance. And we've got ourselves a point on the board ready from the start, which is Nice Drivers' Championship. Of course, it looks exactly like the race results. That's unsurprising. And constructors-wise, we are in 6th. 6th is secure for now with that single point. Red Bull, of course, leading the way from Ferrari by 11 points after one race. Aston Martin coming in 3rd. Just to wrap things up. Now, fastest pit stops, I have a feeling we didn't get anywhere near that list. Just a thought, I would say with some certainty our best pit stop was a 2.7 something, and Alfa Romeo's was a 2.69, so we're not far off, and hopefully things will get better. Report-wise, of course, we know what happened there. We've done okay with our pit stops in general, I suppose, for the weekend. Really good performance from K-Mag this weekend. 19th in practice, 7th in qualifying, 10th in the race. Good, exceeded all of his expectations. 18th in practice for Hulkenberg, 11th in qualifying, 12th in the race. Not the biggest loss in the world. And our reserve driver, Mr. Pietro Fittipaldi, has in fact finished 10th in P1. Did very well and got himself a little bit more of an experience boost, which will help us. 3 million in the bank. That's going to help us to build an emergency part over the race weekend, because Pietro Fittipaldi also smashed it into a wall, which was delightful. I really enjoyed that. Really grateful to him for his contribution to the team this weekend, it's got to be said. But we've done okay. We've had a good first race. We will see what the news reports are saying, and then we'll start wrapping this episode up. If you have enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe, ring the bell, leave the comments, tell how you think we're going to do. Well, we'll finish at the end of this season as we finish construction on our team hub, and we've got a little bit of money in the bank, so that might be a thing we work on next episode, as well as having our brand new design chassis coming in tomorrow. Anyway, guys, I've been Chasing Lamely. Thank you much for watching. I shall see you all very soon. Until next time, stay safe and have a good one. Bye.